Let's jump right in. Welcome to this explainer on cracking the code of legal citations. Now, if you're used to regular academic referencing, you know it can be a bit tedious, right? Well, legal referencing, that is a totally different ballgame. It is a high-stakes operation where absolute precision is literally everything. I mean, one misplaced comma or a single missing data point can entirely derail the credibility of your hard work. So we're going to break down exactly what you need to know to make sure you never lose marks on these citations again.
Our source material lays down a golden rule right off the bat, and it's this. Legal materials require special care. And honestly, that is putting it mildly. This isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's the fundamental law of academic legal writing. Citing a standard textbook or a journal article, that's a fairly forgiving path. But legal texts are an absolute minefield by comparison. You simply cannot treat them like a standard publication, or you're on a fast track to lost marks. They need a completely bespoke approach, mainly because the stuff they contain, the laws, the statutes, that's the very framework of our society. So accuracy here, it's not just preferred, it's absolutely mandatory.
Because of that intense demand for accuracy, you're probably going to run into a major clash of systems in your coursework. It's like a giant puzzle. On one side, you've got OSCILA. That stands for the Oxford University Standard for Citation of Legal Authorities, and a ton of UK law courses strictly demand it. It's super specialized. But then, on the flip side, you've got Harvard. Picture this. You're writing a massive paper, and almost all your sources, sociology, history, economics, are perfectly formatted in Harvard. You're completely fluent in it. But the second you drop a legal document into that very same paper, boom, your law course might still force you to use OSCILA just for that one text. You've got to be incredibly agile and know exactly which system your course mandates for legal authorities, even if it totally breaks the pattern of everything else you've cited.
Okay, but what if your course actually says, hey, use Harvard across the board, even for the legal stuff? You might be breathing a huge sigh of relief right now, thinking you can just slap on the standard author date format and call it a day. Well, hold your horses. The guidelines are crystal clear here. If Harvard is required for legal materials, you absolutely must follow the exact institutional legal template. You can't just use that generic format you'd use for a novel or a website. Actually, scratch that. It's more like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. Institutions have created very specific bespoke templates designed specifically to force legal documents into the Harvard style. So your job isn't to guess how that looks. Your job is to hunt down your university's exact template and follow it to the absolute letter.
Let's look at the actual anatomy of a citation for an act, which, remember, is primary legislation passed by Parliament. The data points you need here are incredibly specific. First up, jurisdiction. This just tells us the geographic reach, like, does this apply to the UK, Scotland, somewhere else? Second, the short title. This is the official, recognizable name of the act. Third is the year it was enacted. And fourth, the chapter number. Now, a quick reminder, this is not a chapter in a book. It's a highly specific legislative identifier that tracks the exact parliamentary session when the act was passed. Being meticulous with these 4 pieces of data is completely non-negotiable. Miss the chapter number or forget the jurisdiction, you haven't just made a little typo. You've literally given an incomplete legal coordinate.
But what happens when we switch gears to secondary legislation? You know, the specific rules, orders, or regulations that sit under the umbrella of a broader act. Notice how the required data points shift immediately. We completely drop the jurisdiction and the chapter number. Instead, the anatomy now requires the title of the legislation, the year, and, this is the big one, a very specific statutory instrument number. A statutory instrument is just the formal term for these secondary regulations, and they're numbered sequentially every single year. So because primary and secondary legislation function differently in the real world, they are tracked differently in the academic world. You have to adapt your structure based on the exact type of document sitting in front of you.
Now let's be real. We live in the digital age. You're probably not blowing the dust off a massive leather-bound book in a dimly lit law library to find these acts. You're finding them online. And when you're dealing with online versions, there is a crucial modern requirement you cannot ignore. You absolutely must append the official URL and your specific access date. Why the access date? Think about it. Digital repositories change, they update, they shift, they amend how things are displayed. By pinpointing the exact day you visited that official URL, you are locking your citation to a specific moment in time. It is literally an insurance policy for your academic integrity, just in case that digital record changes or goes offline after you've hit submit.
Okay, I really need you to focus on this next directive because it is an absolute unbreakable rule. Never guess. Seriously. Even in-text treatments, meaning how you casually refer to a law within the flowing paragraphs of your essay, vary wildly depending on the guide you're using.
Because of this extreme variability, you should never, ever risk your grade by trying to guess a conversion from another citation system. You cannot just look at an Oscula citation and assume you can somehow reverse engineer it into your university's Harvard template. Guesswork in legal citation? It's pretty much the fastest possible route to an academic penalty. Just don't do it.
So how do we actually survive all this without losing our minds? Well, there's a clear two-step golden rule for survival. Step 1, leverage online tools to manage the chaos. The Harvard Reference Generator, you can find it at harvardreferencegenerator.co.uk, is a fantastic resource for organizing all those meticulous little details. The jurisdiction, the statutory instrument numbers, the access dates, it effortlessly gathers all your raw materials. But step 2 is where the magic happens. You must finalize everything using your specific university guide. The generator is great for getting organized, but your current law school or university guide? That is the ultimate boss. It dictates the final, indisputable citation. It is literally the judge and jury of your reference list.
Which brings us to a final overarching question to leave you with today. Are you leaving your legal citations to guesswork, or are you following the letter of your university's law? As we've seen throughout this explainer, legal referencing is incredibly unforgiving. It demands special care, highly exact templates, and a complete refusal to just guess. And you know, the precision we've broken down today isn't just academic red tape. It actually mirrors the exact, rigorous standard of the legal profession itself. So when you're tackling your next paper, take that extra time. Gather those specific data points, use the generator to organize yourself, and most importantly, let your university's ultimate authority guide your final pen stroke. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your learning focused, and I'll catch you next time.